to see you, Congressman. Just
Thanks.
let me do a backup. October 1st letter from Foreign Affairs Chair Eliot Engel, Adam Schiff, to Deputy Secretary of State John Sullivan threatened to withhold paychecks. Also, Wisconsin Democrat Mark Pocan, he also threatened the same in a letter to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. They can withhold paychecks?
Hey, what's that sound like? Sound like quid pro quo to me, doesn't it? Let's withhold their paycheck unless they do something we want. Listen, this is just more of the same old bullying tactics from the various Democrats in what is right now the most unfair treatment of a president, the biggest witch hunt that I've ever seen in my life and perhaps in the history of our country.
You know, 4 polls show a majority oppose. They're against impeaching Trump. We're talking Quinnipiac, NBC, WSJ, Wall Street Journal poll, Monmouth College, the New York Times, Siena College poll of 6 battleground state voters there. More than half say don't want it. They don't want the impeachment of the president or removing him.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, those numbers would increase drastically, even more than they are, if the American people actually saw what was going on in the dungeon, in Adam Schiff's dungeon. There is not a word, number one, that's coming out of the hearings that we're having, the so-called impeachment inquiry, that would ever even be admitted in a court of law. None of this should be classified. The American people are being locked out. Even members of Congress are being locked out. This is the most secretive, non-transparent. It is absolutely sickening and disgusting what's going on. Impeachment is something that ought to be taken seriously. This should not be as one-sided as this is.
Yeah.
It is absolutely shameful.
Let's show again the scroll. I want to show you, not that scroll. I don't want that. Take that off the screen. We want to show Quinnipiac. We want to show Monmouth. Let's show Marist College. Let's show the other results of the polls where they're saying no to impeachment. Here's the other thing that's going on, sir. We've had other issues as well. The Zogby poll shows the president steadily gaining on Joe Biden with Democrat voting blocs. He's tightening the race with Biden, with suburban voters, with Hispanics. He's even leading, according to Zogby, with, the big city voters and Gen Xers. Fun stuff there. It's interesting.
Yeah, it really is interesting. But frankly, again, I don't think this should come as a surprise to any of us. The American people understand fairness. And what is happening right now is an absolute disgrace. There is zero that's taking place right now that is fair. And the American people get that. They understand who's behind it. And it's not surprising at all to me that the president is doing as good as these polls indicate. And again, if the truth were known, those numbers would probably double. Okay,
the big impeachment story, it's about now selling the impeachment narrative to voters. Nancy Pelosi has a new fact sheet about the president's alleged abuses of power. We're still trying to get a bead on what laws they're going to say the president broke. We've been studying it here. They may delay the timeline of making the case to the voter till maybe after Christmas. Is this another 2-year Mueller probe?
It could be, because the facts, the evidence just simply are not on the side of the Democrats. There is no law that's been broken. The witnesses that they are bringing forth, it's all secondhand information. We have yet to have anyone who is on the call or someone who is in actual meetings where things took place. No one who has been able at all to give any evidence of wrongdoing of the president. And yet we, as a minority party, are not even allowed to bring forth witnesses that we want to. The only witnesses being allowed are those that the Democrats, Adam Schiff in particular, believe will be damaging to the president. This is it's horrible. You know, the president talked to Sean Hannity last night. He said the impeachment process started the day it was inaugurated. It didn't. It started in March 2016. The Daily News ran a headline saying impeach Trump, and then the FBI initiated its Crossfire Hurricane in July 2016. We had congressmen, calling for the president's impeachment very early on, sir. Your reaction to all of that? Yes, absolutely true. They didn't like the results of the election, and so they've been trying to get rid of this president from day one. And we went through, 2.5 years of the whole Russia collusion fiasco, which was proven absolutely false, and that didn't work. So now they have a telephone call that is recent, and they're trying to make something of that. It was a perfect telephone call, absolutely nothing wrong with it. The president asking cooperation from a foreign government in relation to an ongoing investigation with the Department of Justice, the president ought to be making those kinds of asks when necessary.
Okay.
But the Democrats can't stand it.
Jody Hice, great to see you. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us, Congressman. Coming up, now this name is hovering over the race. It's Hillary Clinton. We're going to explain next.